Arik moved quietly through the dimly lit corridors of the mining colony. The air was heavy with dust, and the faint hum of machinery echoed in the distance. This colony, on the edge of the Empire, was no place for kindness. Every corner hid a soldier or a surveillance drone. Yet, despite the danger, Arik felt a pull toward a small cell where a young woman was being held, a prisoner of the Empire. Her name was Lyra. Arik had heard whispers about her abilities. She could sense things before they happened, a gift that the Empire feared. That gift had made her a slave, a tool for their cruel experiments. But Arik didn't care about the Empire's rules. He cared about freedom, about saving someone who could not save herself. He paused outside the cell. Through the reinforced glass, he could see her, a girl no older than 16 with sharp eyes and a tired face. Her hands were pressed against the bars, trembling slightly. Arik felt a pang in his chest. He knew the risks. One wrong move and the soldiers would kill him. One wrong move and she would remain trapped forever. Arik took a deep breath and activated the small device in his pocket. It emitted a soft, pulsing light, undetectable to the standard sensors. The colony's locks and security systems would be confused for just a few minutes. That was all the time he needed. The door clicked open. Lyra's eyes widened in surprise. Who are you?" she whispered. "Someone who wants to help," Arik replied calmly. "We don't have much time. Follow me." Lyra hesitated. Fear flickered across her face, but the hope in her eyes was stronger. She nodded. Arik extended his hand and she took it, her grip tentative but firm. Together they moved down the narrow corridors, avoiding patrols and cameras. Every step was calculated, every corner a potential threat. Why are you helping me?" she asked, her voice barely audible. Arik glanced at her, keeping his tone low. "Because no one deserves to live like this. Because someone once helped me when I needed it. And now it's my turn." Lyra looked at him, a mixture of confusion and trust in her eyes. She had known fear all her life, but now there was something else, a spark of hope she hadn't felt before. They reached a maintenance shaft, narrow and dark. Arik led the way, and Lyra followed closely, her heart pounding. The walls were cold and metallic, and the sound of their footsteps echoed like distant thunder. They had no idea where the shaft would lead, but it was the only path to freedom. Suddenly, a patrol turned a corner ahead. Arik froze, pressing himself and Lyra against the wall. The soldiers passed, their boots clanging against the floor. Arik held his breath until the sound faded. "That was close," Lyra whispered. "Too close," Arik replied. "Keep moving." After what felt like hours, the shaft opened into a storage bay filled with crates and machinery. Here, the colony's escape shuttles were kept. Arik quickly found one, a small ship built for short-range travel. It was old and worn, but it would fly. "Can you pilot?" Arik asked, glancing at Lyra. She shook her head. "No, I've never been near a ship." "Then don't. Just hold on," he said. "I'll get us out of here." Arik activated the ship, and the engines hummed to life. Outside, the colony stretched endlessly, a web of steel and smoke under the harsh lights of the Empire's towers. He guided the shuttle carefully, avoiding patrol drones and searchlights. The ship lifted off, rising above the colony like a bird freed from its cage. Lyra pressed her face against the small window, watching the Empire's prison shrink beneath them. I can't believe this is real," she whispered. "It's real," Arik said. "And it's just the beginning. You're free now." For the first time in years, Lyra allowed herself a smile. The fear that had weighed her down like chains was slowly lifting. She looked at Arik, her eyes shining with gratitude. But freedom came with danger. The Empire would not let her go easily. They would search the stars for her, and they would come for anyone who helped her escape. Arik knew that. He also knew that hiding would not be enough. They had to keep moving, to stay ahead, to survive. "We'll need to find a place to hide," Arik said. "Somewhere they won't think to look." Lyra nodded. "Somewhere far away." The shuttle soared into the black void of space, stars streaking past like silver threads. Arik set the course for a distant system on the edge of human civilization, a place few dared to go. It was dangerous, yes, but it was safer than anywhere near the Empire. As they traveled, Arik taught Lyra how to operate the ship's basic controls. She listened carefully, her fear slowly giving way to determination. She was learning, adapting, growing stronger with every passing moment. Arik admired her courage. She was not just a survivor. She was someone who could change her fate. Hours. Later, they arrived at a hidden asteroid colony, small and almost forgotten. Here, the Empire's reach was weak, and the people were wary of outsiders, but freedom was possible. Arik helped Lyra disembark and guided her through the maze of tunnels and living quarters. "You'll be safe here," he said, "at least for now." Lyra looked at him, her voice trembling but firm. "Thank you. You saved my life." Arik shook his head. "No, you saved your own. I just helped you take the first step." As night fell over the hidden colony, Lyra stood on a cliff overlooking the distant stars. For the first time, she felt the vastness of the universe, the freedom that awaited her beyond the Empire's grasp. She would survive. She would grow, stronger. And one day, perhaps she would return the favor. But for now, all that mattered was the present. The Empire was behind her, the stars were ahead, and Arik, her unexpected savior, was beside her, guiding the way. The journey of freedom had begun, and neither of them knew how far it would take them, or how much the choices of this night would shape the future of humanity itself. The years passed quietly for Arik and Lyra, though the universe around them changed in ways neither could have imagined. On the hidden asteroid colony, Lyra learned to survive, to adapt, and to grow. She trained every day, honing her psychic abilities in secret, far from the Empire's prying eyes. Arik watched over her, teaching her skills in engineering, strategy, and navigation, all the while keeping the colony safe from patrols and spies. Lyra changed as the years went by. The scared, timid girl who had clutched Arik's hand in that first escape was gone. In her place stood a young woman with eyes sharp as a hawk's, always alert, always thinking 2 steps ahead. Her psychic powers, once raw and unpredictable, became precise tools she could use to anticipate danger or read the intentions of those around her. Yet despite her strength, Lyra never forgot the man who had saved her life. Arik, meanwhile, aged, slowly, not from years alone, but from the weight of responsibility. He had taken care of the colony, repaired broken machinery, fought off the occasional Imperial patrol, and taught Lyra all he could. Though he never admitted it aloud, he often wondered what life might have been if he had never helped her. The memory of that night never left him. Meanwhile, the Empire moved on, as ruthless empires always do. They continued expanding, consuming planets and enslaving populations. But pockets of rebellion began to rise, inspired in part by legends of those who escaped the Empire's grasp. Lyra, though young, was becoming one of those legends. She sent coded messages to other colonies, guiding them, teaching them, helping them survive in secret. Her name, whispered among the oppressed, became a symbol of hope. One evening, as Arik repaired a broken hydroponic system, Lyra approached him with a map of the nearby star systems spread out before her. "We should consider leaving," she said, her voice calm but firm. "The Empire is growing stronger. They will eventually find us, and when they do—" She didn't need to finish. Both knew what would happen if the Empire discovered the hidden colony. Arik studied the map. "Where would we go?" Most systems are under their control. Lyra traced a line with her finger. There are uncharted systems beyond the nebula belt. Few ships travel there. We could build a safe haven for ourselves, and maybe others who need freedom. Arik nodded slowly. It's risky, but I trust your judgment. You've grown into someone far stronger than I imagined. Lyra smiled faintly. Thanks to you. Over the next months, they prepared. Lyra trained in the art of piloting while Arik upgraded the shuttle to survive long journeys through uncharted space. Supplies were gathered, maps studied, escape routes planned. Every detail mattered. Every mistake could cost them their lives. During this time, Lyra's abilities continued to grow. She could sense approaching storms in the void, detect ships before they appeared on scanners, and even anticipate small shifts in human behavior that might signal betrayal. Arik often marveled at her growth, sometimes wondering if she had outgrown him entirely. But he never stopped teaching her, never stopped guiding her. He knew that one day she would face challenges that even he could not solve. Finally, the day came when the shuttle was ready. The colony had been fortified, defenses strengthened, and hidden escape routes prepared in case of a sudden attack. Lyra stood at the shuttle's hatch, looking back at the place that had sheltered her, the people who had become her family, and the man who had given her freedom. "Are you ready?" Arik asked. Lyra nodded. "I've never been more ready. Let's go." The shuttle rose quietly from the asteroid's surface, gliding past the jagged rocks and into the black expanse of space. Stars stretched endlessly in all directions. A vast canvas of light and darkness. For the first time in years, Lyra felt completely free. No walls, no guards, no empire, just the void and the possibilities it held. Their journey took them through uncharted systems, past rogue planets and drifting asteroids, always cautious, always alert. Lyra quickly adapted to piloting the shuttle, her psychic abilities giving her an edge in anticipating gravitational shifts or hidden dangers. Arik, sitting beside her, guided her through the navigation protocols, but it became clear that she had a natural talent for exploration that rivaled his own. As they traveled, Lyra began to think beyond survival. She envisioned communities of free people, hidden from the empire, connected by trade, communication, and mutual aid. She imagined colonies where children could grow up without fear, where humans could thrive and innovate without the empire's oppression. The vision filled her with determination, a fire that would not be extinguished. Meanwhile, Arik noticed the change in her demeanor. The girl who had once clung to him in fear now made decisions with confidence, speaking with authority, and sometimes questioning even him when necessary. He realized that his role had shifted, from protector to partner, from teacher to equal. It was a strange but welcome feeling, knowing that the person he had saved was no longer helpless. Years passed in this way, and Lyra's reputation grew. Messages sent through hidden channels reached oppressed colonies across the galaxy. Stories of a young woman who had escaped the empire and now helped others began to circulate. She became a beacon of hope, a symbol of resistance, and a force the empire could not ignore. And all the while, Arik remained by her side. He never sought recognition or glory. His satisfaction came from seeing her succeed, from knowing that the small act of helping a frightened girl had grown into something far greater than he could have imagined. Together, they were a quiet but unstoppable force, a testament to the power of human courage, ingenuity, and compassion. As they approached the edge of the nebula belt, Lyra looked out the viewport at the swirling clouds of gas and distant stars. "We're close," she said. "Our new home is just beyond that, a place where no empire can reach us." Arik smiled. "Then let's make it a home worth protecting, not just for us, but for everyone who needs freedom." Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. The girl who had once been a prisoner was now a leader, a pioneer, and a symbol of humanity's enduring spirit. And though the Empire still ruled much of the galaxy, she knew that one day she and Arik would show the universe the strength of humans who refused to be oppressed. The shuttle moved steadily through the void, carrying them toward new beginnings, toward challenges they could not yet imagine, and toward a future shaped by courage, intelligence, and hope. And somewhere deep inside, Lyra promised herself that she would never forget the man who had started it all, the one who had saved her life and set her on the path to greatness. Years had passed since Arik had helped Lyra escape the Empire's grasp. Life on the hidden asteroid colony had grown quiet, the routines of survival slowly becoming a comforting rhythm. Arik spent his days repairing equipment, teaching younger colonists, and exploring nearby asteroids for resources. Yet, in the back of his mind, he often wondered what had become of Lyra. He had no way of knowing that the girl he once saved had grown into a formidable woman, a leader, a warrior, and a symbol of hope for countless oppressed people across the galaxy. The first sign of her return was subtle, a sensor blip far beyond the colony's normal patrol range. Arik frowned as he checked the readings. A large starship, unmarked and unlike anything from the Empire, was moving steadily toward them. Its hull gleamed under the distant starlight, and its shape was elegant, almost regal. Arik's heart skipped a beat, a mix of excitement and unease tightening his chest. He activated the colony's communication system, sending a cautious message. "Unknown ship? Identify yourself." There was no immediate response, only the low hum of the ship as it drew closer. Minutes later, a small craft detached from the main vessel and descended toward the colony. Arik's pulse quickened as the ship's landing bay opened, revealing a figure in polished royal armor. The helmet reflected the distant stars, and though he could not see her face, there was no mistaking the confident, commanding stance. The figure removed the helmet, and Arik's eyes widened. Lyra, the girl he had saved all those years ago, was standing before him, taller, stronger, and radiating authority. Her eyes locked onto his, and a slow, confident smile spread across her face. "Master," she said, her voice calm but commanding. The word struck Arik like lightning. "Lyra," he whispered, stunned. The word hung between them, a mixture of astonishment and something deeper he could not name. She had grown beyond recognition, yet she was still the same person who had trusted him so many years ago. "I know this may surprise you," Lyra continued, "but I could not have come back sooner. There was much to do, much to learn. The Empire grows stronger each day, and I have a responsibility to those who cannot defend themselves." Arik shook his head slowly, still struggling to find words. I never imagined you would return. Not like this." Lyra stepped closer, her armor glinting in the dim light. "You taught me that strength comes not only from power, but from courage, intelligence, and compassion. Without you, I would not be who I am today. I owe you more than I can ever express." Arik's heart swelled with pride and humility. He had always believed that helping her was the right thing to do, but he had never imagined the impact it would have. The timid girl he had guided had become a leader capable of shaping the destiny of thousands. "Why, call me Master?" he asked, curiosity mixed with awe. Lyra smiled softly. "It is not meant as a command. It is respect, gratitude, and acknowledgement. You saved my life, taught me, and guided me. I would not have survived without your help. That is why I call you Master." The weight of her words settled on Arik. He realized that the small act of kindness he had shown years ago had grown into something far greater than either of them could have imagined. Lyra's journey had not been easy, yet she had returned stronger, ready to face the Empire and protect the innocent. "I didn't expect to see you like this," Arik admitted, his voice soft. I thought you'd remain a memory, a story I would tell the others." Lyra shook her head. "Memories are not enough. I have returned to act. The Empire is developing a weapon that could enslave entire star systems. I need your help to stop it." Arik's mind raced. He had spent years hiding, teaching, and repairing the colony, never imagining that he would be called upon for such a mission. Yet, as he looked at Lyra, standing tall in her royal armor, he felt a surge of determination. He knew that together they could face any challenge. "When do we start?" he asked, a spark of excitement in his eyes. Lyra's smile widened. "Tonight, we leave under the cover of darkness. Time is critical." As they prepared for the journey, Arik noticed how much Lyra had changed. Her movements were precise, confident, and commanding. Her voice carried authority, and her decisions were quick and deliberate. Yet beneath the strength and armor, he could still see the same girl who had trusted him years ago. The same courage, the same determination, and the same heart. The shuttle they would use for the mission was small but fast, equipped with advanced technology Lyra had acquired during her years away. Arik marveled at the modifications, impressed by her ingenuity and foresight. As they lifted off from the asteroid colony, Arik glanced at the stars stretching endlessly before them. He realized that this was not just a journey through space, it was a journey into the future, a chance to shape the destiny of humanity. Lyra guided the shuttle with precision, navigating through asteroid fields and avoiding Imperial patrols. Arik handled the engineering systems, ensuring the ship ran smoothly. The seamless cooperation between them highlighted the trust and bond that had formed years ago and had only grown stronger with time. During the quiet moments of travel, Lyra shared stories of her years in the outer systems. She spoke of colonies she had helped liberate, people she had guided to safety, and the alliances she had formed. Each story revealed not only her strength, but also the indomitable spirit of humanity, the resilience, ingenuity, and courage that defined them. Arik listened, amazed. The girl he had saved had become a force that could inspire and lead countless others. And now she had returned, seeking his help once more. As the shuttle approached the coordinates of the Empire's secret facility, Arik felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The mission ahead would be dangerous, but he knew that with Lyra by his side, there was no challenge they could not face. For the first time in years, Arik felt hope, not just for their mission, but for the future of humanity itself. Lyra looked at him, her eyes steady and determined. "Together we will show them what humans are capable of. Together we will protect those who cannot protect themselves." Arik nodded, a firm resolve settling over him. "Then let's do it, for freedom, for humanity." And as the shuttle streaked through the blackness of space, carrying them toward danger and destiny, Arik knew that the girl he had once saved was no longer the same Lyra. She had returned as a leader, a warrior, and a symbol of human courage. And he was ready to stand beside her, facing whatever the universe would throw at them. The past and present had converged, and the future awaited. A future shaped by bravery, intelligence, and the enduring strength of humans who refused to be conquered. The shuttle cut silently through the vast darkness of space. Stars streaked past as Arik and Lyra navigated the course toward the Empire's hidden research facility. It was located on a barren planet, heavily shielded and guarded by automated defenses. The weapon being developed there was said to have the power to enslave entire star systems, and Lyra could not allow it to fall into the wrong hands. Arik checked the ship's systems for the 100th time. "Sensors show patrol drones ahead. They're moving fast, but we can slip past them if we stay low and follow the asteroid belt." Lyra nodded, her eyes focused. "Good. Timing will be everything. One mistake, and they'll know we're here." The shuttle dipped between jagged asteroids, each movement precise and calculated. The patrol drones scanned the area, their lights sweeping across the void. Lyra's psychic abilities tingled, sensing the drones before their sensors detected the shuttle. She guided Auric with subtle directions, and together they moved like shadows through the asteroid field, invisible to the enemy. Finally, the planet came into view. It was a cold, lifeless world, its surface scarred with craters and fortified structures. The research facility was located at the center, a massive fortress of steel and energy barriers. Lyra and Auric studied it carefully, plotting their approach. "We can't just storm the front," Auric said. "The shields are too strong. We need to find another way in." Lyra's eyes scanned the surface. "There's a maintenance tunnel, here, partially hidden by a ridge. It leads directly into the facility's core systems. If we can reach it, we might have a chance to disable the weapon from the inside." Auric smiled. "I like your thinking. Let's do it." They landed the shuttle in a narrow canyon near the ridge. Lyra led the way, moving swiftly and silently, her armor protecting her while allowing flexibility. Auric followed closely, carrying the tools and devices needed to hack the facility's systems. The maintenance tunnel was dark and narrow, lined with pipes and conduits. Every step echoed softly, a reminder that discovery was only a misstep away. Lyra's psychic sense guided them past hidden patrols and security sensors. "Left here, then right. Now crawl," she whispered, her voice calm but intense. Hours passed as they navigated the tunnels, avoiding automated turrets and security drones. Auric marveled at Lyra's skill, her ability to anticipate danger and react faster than any machine. He realized that the girl he had once saved had become something extraordinary, a combination of human ingenuity and extraordinary power. Finally, they reached the control hub, a room filled with glowing panels, servers, and intricate machinery. The weapon's core was connected to the systems here, and Auric immediately began his work. He attached his hacking device to the main console, fingers flying over the interface. "Lyra, I'll need you to cover me," he said. "If any guards or drones come through, I won't have time to stop them and finish the hack." Lyra nodded, standing near the entrance, her stance firm and confident. "I've got you. Nothing will get past me." As Auric worked, Lyra sensed the presence of the guards approaching from above. She concentrated, reaching out with her psychic abilities. The moment the guards' intentions became clear, she moved. With a burst of speed and precision, she disabled the first wave silently, using non-lethal techniques to ensure they wouldn't alert the entire facility. Auric glanced up briefly. "You've changed so much. You're amazing." Lyra smiled, her focus never leaving the entrance. "I learned from the best." Hours of tense work passed. Auric bypassed security protocols, rewired control systems, and prepared to disable the weapon. Lyra continued her watch, anticipating every move of the enemy. Finally, he reached the final stage of the hack. "Almost there," he whispered. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. They had been discovered. Drones and guards poured into the control hub. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We finish this now." Using her psychic abilities, Lyra created illusions and distractions, confusing the guards and making them attack shadows instead of reality. Auric worked faster, overriding the weapon's systems and shutting it down permanently. Sparks flew and the humming of the weapon ceased. The guards were relentless, but Lyra was faster. She moved like a shadow, striking with precision, avoiding harm while neutralizing every threat. Auric finally finished the hack, leaning back with relief. "It's done. The weapon is offline." Lyra turned to him, armor scratched but unbroken. "Good. Now we get out before more arrive." They raced back through the maintenance tunnel, alarms echoing behind them. The shuttle was waiting, engines humming. They boarded and lifted off, dodging laser fire and avoiding patrol drones. Arik piloted the shuttle while Lyra guided them with psychic precision, anticipating enemy movements. Finally, they broke through the planet's atmosphere and into open space. The facility below erupted in sparks and explosions as security systems failed. Lyra allowed herself a moment to breathe, her chest heaving with adrenaline. Arik clapped her on the shoulder. "We did it! We actually did it!" Lyra smiled, a mixture of relief and triumph. "We did it together. The Empire will not use this weapon to enslave anyone, not while humans are willing to fight for freedom," as they set a course for a safe location. Lyra looked out the viewport at the stars stretching endlessly ahead. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The Empire may be defeated in one battle, but humanity's journey to freedom is far from over." Arik nodded. "Then we'll face it together. Whatever comes next, we'll show them the strength of humans who refuse to be conquered." And as the shuttle sped through the void, carrying them away from the ruined facility and toward new challenges, Arik realized that the girl he had once saved had grown into something far greater than anyone could imagine. Together, they were a force of human courage, intelligence, and determination, a reminder that even against overwhelming odds, humanity could triumph. The capital of the Empire loomed ahead, a massive planet covered in steel towers, domed cities, and energy barriers. From orbit, it looked unassailable, a fortress in space. Yet Arik and Lyra knew that the Empire's strength was built on fear and technology, not the courage and ingenuity of humanity. And that was their advantage. Lyra's armor gleamed under the planet's light as she stood in the shuttle, her eyes scanning the city below. "This is it," she said. "The High Council controls everything from the central palace. If we can reach it, we can disrupt their operations and inspire people to rise." Arik nodded, adjusting the shuttle's controls. "It's heavily defended. Drones, patrol ships, automated turrets. Even with your abilities, we'll need a plan." Lyra's eyes narrowed with determination. "We'll use what they do not expect. Fear makes them predictable." The shuttle descended through the outer atmosphere, weaving between skyscrapers and avoiding patrols. Using her psychic senses, Lyra anticipated the patrol's movements, guiding Arik through narrow passages and hidden streets. The people in the lower districts looked up at the shuttle, unsure whether to flee or follow, but fear kept them in their homes. Finally, they landed near the central palace, a towering structure of polished metal and glass. Guards and drones patrolled the perimeter. Lyra scanned the area. "We enter from the maintenance hatch below," she said. "It's small and unguarded, but we'll need to move quickly." Inside the palace, the corridors were cold and sterile, filled with the hum of machinery. Automated systems monitored every movement. Arik followed closely as Lyra led the way, anticipating the paths of patrols and avoiding detection. Her confidence was palpable, and Arik could see the respect the Empire's systems had for her presence. Even machines faltered under her psychic influence. At last, they reached the control center, a room glowing with holographic displays and guarded by elite soldiers. Lyra turned to Arik. "We need to disable the palace's defenses. That will give the people below a chance to rise." Arik moved to the main console, fingers flying over the interface. He bypassed firewalls, disabled energy barriers, and rerouted surveillance feeds. Lyra stood guard, her psychic powers creating subtle illusions that confused the guards and gave Arik the precious minutes he needed. Suddenly, the elite soldiers noticed the breach and advanced. Lyra reacted instantly, moving like a shadow. She disarmed guards without harming them, using precise strikes to neutralize threats. Arik continued his work, shutting down key systems and taking control of the palace. The alarms rang louder, but the palace was beginning to falter. Drones stopped in their tracks, automated turrets powered down, and holographic monitors went dark. Lyra's strategy was working. From the city below, citizens began to notice the chaos. Word spread quickly through hidden channels and public announcements that the Empire's palace was under attack. People, long oppressed, began to rise. They took to the streets, not with weapons at first, but with courage, hope, and the determination to reclaim their freedom. Arik looked at Lyra, awe in his eyes. "You've done more than I imagined. The people, they're responding." Lyra smiled faintly, her armor scratched but strong. "They always will, if they have hope and guidance. The Empire can control with fear, but it cannot control the human spirit." The elite soldiers regrouped and attempted to regain control, but Lyra's psychic abilities allowed her to anticipate their movements, countering every attack. Arik coordinated with her, using technology to disable weapons systems, open escape routes for civilians, and ensure that no one unnecessary was harmed. As the battle inside the palace reached its peak, Lyra projected a psychic signal across the city, a call to the oppressed. "Rise! The Empire cannot hold you. Freedom is yours if you dare to claim it." From every district, citizens responded. The Empire's soldiers, expecting obedience, were overwhelmed by the sheer will and courage of the people. Buildings that once symbolized oppression became rallying points for hope. Citizens coordinated, disabling machinery, blocking patrols, and helping those who were trapped. Arik watched in amazement. This is incredible. The Empire's fear can't stop them." Lyra nodded, determination burning in her eyes. "It never could. We just needed to show them that humans can rise, that intelligence and courage can defeat tyranny." Finally, the High Council realized that their control was slipping. Panic spread among their ranks. Lyra and Arik reached the council chamber, a massive room filled with leaders who had once ruled with absolute power. The doors burst open and Lyra stood tall, her armor gleaming. "You have ruled through fear for too long," she said. "Your weapon, your empire, will no longer enslave the innocent. Humanity refuses to bow." The council attempted to retaliate, but their systems were offline, their guards neutralized, and the citizens surrounding the palace made resistance impossible. One by one, the leaders surrendered. Arik stepped beside Lyra, feeling the weight of their accomplishment. Together, they had shown the Empire the power of human courage, ingenuity, and unity. Lyra turned to the city below, raising her voice. "The future belongs to those who dare to act, who dare to be free. Rise, humans. Build a world where no one fears oppression, where courage and intelligence guide us." The people cheered, a sound that echoed across the city, the streets filled with hope and celebration. For the first time in generations, humanity tasted freedom, not as a dream, but as reality. Arik looked at Lyra, admiration in his eyes. "You've done it. You've changed everything." Lyra smiled softly. "No, we've done it. Together. The Empire is strong, but humanity is stronger when we refuse to be conquered." As the sun rose over the city, reflecting off the steel towers and shattered barriers, Arik realized that this was more than a victory. It was a turning point, a moment when humans proved that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most powerful empire. And Lyra, the girl he had once saved, now stood as a symbol of that indomitable spirit, ready to guide humanity toward a future of hope, freedom, and endless possibilities. The Empire had fallen. Its towers of steel, its sprawling cities, and its armies no longer ruled the stars. Where once there had been fear, now there was hope. And at the heart of this new age stood Lyra, the girl who had once been a prisoner, now a leader in royal armor, guiding humanity toward freedom. Arik stood beside her, watching as citizens rebuilt their cities, repaired ships, and planted gardens in places once scorched by oppression. He felt a sense of pride and relief, knowing that the universe he had once fought to survive in was now slowly being transformed into a place of possibility. Lyra approached him, her armor polished but worn from recent battles. "It's not over yet," she said. "Freedom must be protected. The Empire is gone, but chaos can rise if we are not careful." Auric nodded. "I understand. And we'll face it together. But seeing all of this, seeing people finally free, it's incredible," Lyra smiled softly. "It is. And it is because humans never give up even when it seems impossible. They rise, they adapt, and they fight for what is right." The two of them walked through the streets, greeting citizens and engineers, teachers and medics, all of whom had stepped forward to help rebuild. Children played where soldiers had once patrolled. Markets buzzed with life where fear had once ruled. Auric felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The small actions he had taken years ago, the choice to save Lyra, had contributed to all of this. Lyra paused at a small overlook, watching ships take off for distant systems. "Do you remember the first day we escaped?" she asked quietly. Auric chuckled. "How could I forget? You were terrified, and I was just trying to get us both out alive." Lyra laughed softly. "I thought the universe would never forgive me for being powerless. But you gave me a chance. And I've spent every day since trying to honor that chance." Auric placed a hand on her shoulder. "And you've done more than honor it. You've changed the galaxy." Lyra looked at him, eyes glimmering with gratitude and determination. "I called you master once because you saved me. But now I see that we are equals. And together, we can guide humanity to a future worth living." Their next task was the establishment of the new council. Lyra had gathered leaders from liberated colonies, engineers who had built hidden systems, teachers who had nurtured minds under oppression, and citizens who had dared to resist. They came together in a great hall, a place of glass and steel, but filled with warmth and hope. Lyra addressed the council. "We are here not to rule over others, but to guide them, to protect freedom, encourage innovation, and ensure that no one is ever enslaved again. We will rebuild with fairness, with knowledge, and with the courage that defines humanity." Auric watched as people nodded, inspired by her words. He felt a surge of pride, not for himself, but for humanity, for what people could achieve when given the chance to act with courage and intelligence. Over the following months, Auric and Lyra traveled between systems, helping rebuild colonies, establish communication networks, and restore trade routes. They shared knowledge of engineering, navigation, and defense, ensuring that humanity could thrive without fear of the Empire's return. Lyra trained new leaders, teaching them the lessons she had learned in her years of struggle and resistance. Auric focused on technology, designing ships and systems that were efficient, sustainable, and capable of defending freedom without oppression. Together, they became a symbol of human potential, proof that one act of courage could ignite a chain of events that changed the universe. One evening, as the twin suns of a distant colony set in brilliant colors, Auric and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking a bustling city. Children ran through the streets, laughter echoing where silence and fear had once reigned. Ships flew overhead, carrying explorers, traders, and dreamers to distant worlds. Lyra turned to Auric. "Do you see what we've built? What humans can do when we refuse to be conquered?" Auric smiled. "Yes, and it all started with a single act of courage. One choice: to help, to trust, and to act." Lyra reached out and took his hand. "You gave me that choice, and because of it, we've given countless others the chance to live freely. That is a legacy no empire can erase." Auric squeezed her hand, feeling the weight of their journey and the promise of the future. and it's only the beginning. Together, they watched the suns dip below the horizon, painting the city in gold and crimson light. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of possibilities. Humanity, once oppressed and scattered, was now rising stronger than ever. The lessons of courage, intelligence, and unity had been proven, and the new era of hope and freedom had begun. Lyra removed her helmet, letting her hair catch the light, and looked at Auric with a mixture of gratitude and determination. "The future is ours to shape," she said, "and we will make it one worth living for everyone." Auric nodded. "Then let's make it so. Together." And as the stars blinked in the night sky, the people below celebrated, the city alive with energy and life. The Empire's shadow was gone, replaced by the light of human ingenuity and courage. Lyra and Auric stood together, symbols of hope and resilience, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, humanity would continue to rise, stronger and wiser than before. For the first time in generations, the galaxy felt free, and the humans who had fought, dreamed, and dared to act could finally look toward a future they would shape with their own hands. In that moment, Auric understood the truth. It was not power, weapons, or fear that defined humanity. It was the courage to act, the intelligence to adapt, and the heart to protect freedom. And together, he and Lyra would ensure that truth endured for all time.